Alright, it says we're streaming. Aloha, welcome to the channel. I am Jonathan. Live from Puna, Hawaii. I want to catch you up on the activity. We did get out today, as I told you last night. Anybody with me yet? Anyone still awake on the mainland? Or anyone joining me from the Big Island here? We are live. So what time is it on the main? Everybody's asleep. It was pretty late last night too.
We were up to 3.
We were. Aloha. Alright, this KBS is all over the place again. Aloha friendly person from Oahu. You're on Oahu? I was told that the 6.9 we had today, that on Facebook, someone felt it in Kona. That's wild. So we'll see how the stream goes. It's a bit unstable right now. I don't know why. We did lose power today. Who all we got? Let me know who we got before I start this presentation. I will upload some more stuff. Darla's having to edit. We had equipment failure today. Camera's not in this right now, but I believe it may be this or that piece right there, because we got some really good footage with no audio, and I did like 3 hours of talking for nothing. And did everything I could to get close to the eruption, but they got it locked down pretty good. It's too much gas and sulfur, what do they call it? Sulfur dioxide is what's being emitted in high concentrations. And we did smell some stuff last night when we were riding through the area, but the wind has changed, and there's more fissures open. I think the last count was 6 fissures, and some really strange information. Well, I don't know if we can count on it to be. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but cracks opening over in Hawaiian beaches, which is another area much closer to us, as Darla just said. That hasn't been confirmed, so we want to find out about that. That's Robert's channel. I thought we would at least have some. Man, maybe I should share this. Tweet it or something. Everyone's asleep, I suppose. Alright, so let's see if it'll let me do a screen capture. Alright, so Here's a map of the USGS. We can flip back earlier today. Where is it at? How far back does it go? Well, I guess that we've gone too far now because I don't see it on there. Because there was a registered 6.9.
Very far down.
Yeah, approximately 12:35 today p.m. As you see, we have had a lot of activity, and up until a few minutes, maybe an hour ago, here's the whole map. We're still feeling tremors. I expect we'll feel some more. So here's a recap of what we did today. We tried to get as close as we could to Leilani. This is where the area that is affected, and it has grown now. It is gone in both directions and is gone spreading. The area in question, Hawaiian beaches over here, there's reports that fissures or cracks have opened in Hawaiian beaches over in that area. Now that's a considerable distance away. That's just not down the street. That's a few miles over. Quite curious. There's nothing that's opened in Nanawali, but yet reports something may have opened over here. I do know that the roadblocks that they've had, and here's where the roadblocks are. One is here. You cannot come down the Kalapana Pahoa Road. Matter of fact, Kalapana is now evacuated. We were down there today. Got some footage of pu'u, which is up here. Guys, these craters here. I think that's pu'u. Yeah. And that's Kilauea up here. Pu'u's down here. And then flowing down to the ocean in Kalapana. So we were down in Kalapana today. There were reports they felt the huge tremors, huge quakes in Kalapana. Both the big ones were felt down there, as well as way over in Kona, guys. Kona is all the way over on the other side of the island, but yet it was felt there and reported they felt it there. So zooming back in, here's the ground we covered. So we came down this road initially, and last night I was right around this area here, and if there's a road that goes right over here to the geothermal, this is a pretty much woods and open fields right here. But what I wanted to do was fly my drone over, because it's a shorter distance than coming from way back here is what we did today. If you saw the drone video of today, this is where I took off, down back here. And it's a good flight, actually. It's more like over here. This is where it was. Here's the other roadblock right here, so that you cannot come down Pohiki Road this way. And they are also blocking traffic here and diverting everybody down Old Government Beach Road. Darla's got some footage of us escaping out that way because there was considerable amount of gases drifting into the neighborhoods here, so they've shut it off. Nanawali may be in trouble with as far as fumes and stuff. I'm not sure what they're doing with those people over there, if they're evacuating or not. But all of Leilani Estates is evacuated. Actually, if you drove down the Kalapana Road all the way to the back way, down to Kalapana, and then back up, we tried to come back up and come in this way, down Malama, but no go. There's a roadblock right here. They will not let you pass there. So we had to divert down this road here, back down, and had to go back out all the way around and down the Government Beach Road. We did come up in Hawaiian beaches and come out this way in Pahoa here, and we didn't see any issues. We are Damn. This is a bad map to get reference. Because it goes in and out. Anyway, we are over in this area, far from over here. However, we are feeling all of these tremors and earthquakes that are taking place. Incidentally, the sea did recede in Hilo Bay. That's kind of crazy. That's way over here. Hilo Bay receded. There's footage of that online. But also down in Pahala, off the coast, was an earthquake, and Punaluu had the sea receded and was gone. Kind of crazy. So down here, the sea went missing, and also in Hilo Bay, the sea receded. So all of this area, because I believe there's reports that they were feeling the 6-pointer in Hilo Bay. When I had to run some errands today, I was on this road here. There's a tremor. You feel that, Darla?
Yeah, it's very mild.
It's a small tremor right now, guys. We are feeling. But anyway, we were on this road here, and I had to pick up some stuff. Anyway, the people I talked to in that area felt it. We're feeling it now. It is a slight jolt, kind of a hopping up and down sensation. However, today, while we were in town, and the big one hit, it was like 12:30. Darla was in the bank. I was outside recording, yet with no sound. And you know, while I'm sitting there, the car's going like this, rocking back and forth, and it was shaking really good. I could look back to both sides of me, the people sitting in the parking lot on either side of me, and they were like, their eyes were really big. So it was kind of a shock. You know, again, the first couple of seconds, it takes me a minute to realize what's going on, which is kind of, I don't think that's good. Maybe you should be more aware of your surroundings and what's happening. But like the very first one we felt, I could have sworn Darla jumped on the bed, because I was in the bed with my eyes closed, and then it was just like a wow, just like somebody jumped on the bed. Very powerful, even still now. A couple hours ago we felt a jolt, a little bit stronger than what we're feeling now. It's kind of a tremor. So they're watching it pretty intensely. They got it locked down pretty good over there. Like I said, we tried to get as much video as we could. I talked until we run the battery out of my camera, and there's no audio. So we can upload. It's great video. Video's awesome. I could probably upload that with, you know, like a sound over or something, maybe, but a very frustrating day. You try to be Johnny on the spot and end up being Johnny come lately the whole time.
What was the official said about the 10th of an inch?
10th of an inch on their scale, right? So they have this, they were talking on the radio about some kind of mechanism they use to measure, and it's in tenths of an inch in increments measurement. And they said that a tenth of an inch in change in the level of water that leaves out of the bay, and they were talking about the Hilo Bay, could be a catastrophic tsunami. That it's been the case. That's how they measure it. So they know if it goes a tenth of an inch in their reading, then there's a problem, and it didn't do that. It did register very slightly, maybe fractions of that. And I don't know why it's so small, but yeah, the tsunami never happened. It did recede. I think the word they used was a mild displacement of water, and it did come back.
What I heard him say was that the water had receded, and if it had receded 1/10 of an inch more, it would have indicated a tsunami.
Okay, all right. So I misunderstood how that was supposed to be read. I know the measurement was 1/10 of an inch, and in any increment of that would have been catastrophic. They would have sounded the alarm, in other words, and evacuated people to higher ground. But that wasn't the case. So, yeah, we tried to get close to it, and they shut down even more roads and have the Army National Guard pretty much all around the scene. And again, they have evacuated Kalapana. There should be no one down there. And that is a very active area that is right there with Pu'u going to the ocean. So everyone is evacuated from down there and come up. However, there are still people, crazy enough, there are still people in Leilani who's held up that did not want to leave. And so they're still there. And now if they leave, they can't get back in. So they're holding down. That's how we're seeing and getting video from inside the perimeter, from people walking right up to fissures and getting. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see them on my page. And some of the video I may be uploading to YouTube here are cell phone footage right up on the fissures. You can hear the immense amount of pressure from these gases that are being pushed by the weight of lava that is some 25 miles away up in Pu'u, and all of that is pushing down a very steep grade. And so it has to go somewhere. And these networks of, it's like veins in your hand under the ground, it will find, I suppose, the route of least resistance, and therefore you would have fissures to open up in the ground with immense pressure, guys. I mean, 6.9, and I'm told that they downgraded that 10 years ago, so it essentially should be a 7.9, but they turned back that measurement system or something like 10 years ago.
9 or something like that.
So essentially, it was a very large earthquake, and being new to earthquakes, having a big one like that as your first taste of it is quite strange. It's a bit exciting. The adrenaline gets pumping, and you get all excited, and I can see how people chase after volcanoes and lava. It is extremely fun. Darla and I was on a very intense it was just very intense, running around, exploring, trying to find back roads, and we were getting lost because nothing works in the jungle. Your cell phone don't work. There's no GPS or nothing. And so, yeah, we were basically getting out, looking for smoke, and trying to get a bearing of where we were. I did send a drone up 1 or 2 times, but I was told that they're confiscating people with drones. They're confiscating the drones, and they're also giving heavy tickets. This is because they're professional, the geological survey people and volcanologists are actually using drones as a tool to get closer to do observations and things like that. And the problem they are having is the private citizens are also sending in drones. And gets quite busy over there. And here's the other thing: to be a good drone operator, you need to have a good line of sight of your craft, because you're responsible for that. It even registers on the radar at the airport with a number. So you're responsible for everything that happens with that aircraft. Even if you crash it into, let's say, a helicopter and you cause casualties, it's all on you. So I had to take all that into consideration because there's helicopters everywhere, flying in and out in different places. Some are tour. I think it's called Blue Hawaiian Tours, that you can actually take Hawaiian flight on these helicopters all over Hawaii, see waterfalls and volcano stuff and whatever. They were also in there, and so it was quite busy. They were actually higher than the lower flying police officers and USGS officials who were literally hovering right, 100 feet above some of the action that was going on over there, right around where your drone would be. So, 200 feet. You're not supposed to go over 400 feet. You can cause problems if you do. So anyway, it was issues, and so we did get it up. I did fly it until I couldn't see it anymore, and then I called it back home because I was shaking. I was so nervous, guys. I mean, there's no playing around with this kind of stuff. If you kill somebody, there's prison time involved there. So I called it back, and so that video is on Facebook. It's not very good. Sun's right in my camera. All you can see is the smoke, and it's like 2 more miles to go. And I just could not risk flying that thing at 2 more miles and not being able to see it with my eyes. Just could have been catastrophic. So I did find a road, however, that cut through a property today. I was tempted to go back tonight and get on that road. It gets me about 2.5 miles closer into a property, actually, that butts up against the geothermal area that's down there, the geothermal electricity plant that's down there. However, on our way out, and we realized that they were shutting down the other side and putting National Guards and police officers there, and then directed us down the old Government Beach Road. It was obvious that we would not be able to get in from that side again, so I wouldn't be able to get back to that road. The reason we found out they're doing that is because of the fumes are blowing back that way, and so they're quite deadly. They can kill you, so that's why they've moved them. The perimeter. Maybe that will change. They don't expect this to wrap up in a few days. Incidentally, if we go to a graphic I have, hang with me, of let's see, here it is. You guys able to see that? So this is the 1955 eruption. If you saw my other broadcast, you remember me talking about the 1960 to 1955 eruptions. Kapoho. This graphic won't go up any further, but the Kapoho eruption happened a little further up around over this area. But in 1955, essentially what we're seeing taking place now, remember on Google Maps I showed you guys these craters. Wow, let's see here. I should have had this up. My apologies for not being prepared. Hang on. All right. So you can actually see the old lava. Here's what we're talking about. This has happened in 1955 of several places, but Kapoho happened in 1960, where it blew out down here. Is a huge crater. It's probably going to be concealed, in the trees. You can see it better when you drive there, but there it is right there. It's a very huge crater. Anyway, there was another. See, this is the 1955 flow. We were actually over here. This is where we took off with the drone right here. And I flew over the lava fields of 1955, trying to get to Leilani over here. So it was actually flying in this direction over. And see, that's a good ways. From this road right here, all the way over here. My initial thought was to fly from here, across that field over here, but the police officers were right here. It would have not been a good idea. But the road that I was talking about, I was going to try to use, actually comes in right here. And it's pretty rough. It's, farmland back here, so four-wheel drive is a must. But it does extend all the way back and gets me a little closer, see? So that would have been the plan, to fly from here instead of there. And here is the area. Here you can see on satellite view the actual craters, the old craters, ancient. Not the ones that, I don't think this was active in 1955, because you'd be able to see the lava still. But these are ancient. But this is essentially where the ground has opened up right here. So this is an ancient crater. You can see another crater here. Another area. Here's some more of the 1955 eruption. It erupted in a linear down the rift and flowed down to the sea. Like here's a small one here. Here's another one that happened in a crater. So these fissures opened up over an 87-day period. Let's go back to that graphic here. So over 87 days, these 6 fissures, and that's what we're dealing with in a small area of Leilani. 6 fissures that are shooting across this area like this, right here. But in 1955, 6 fissures opened up over 87 days, and they most of them flowed to the sea. Excuse me. A few of them were isolated, as you can see, the fissures, and they didn't flow very far. But 1, 2, 3, 4 of them actually flowed to the sea, and that was in 1955. So again, here's the area we're talking about, right in here in Leilani. Again, on the rift. This is the rift right here. It runs right, and we're feeling another tremor. Did you feel that? Very slight. So anyway, this is the rift. Runs all the way down. Again, here's a Kapoho crater, that huge crater I showed you. Here's a better picture of it. This is the one that was blowing 1,000 feet up in the air, fountains. So yeah, here we are again. This is all the activity we've seen past several days. And even now we still are feeling slight tremors. As I fumble around with my with my software. Shabbat Shalom. Is it Shabbat?
Not for us. It's not.
Deborah says Shabbat Shalom. The kids are doing well. Michelle's asking how the kids are doing. They're doing fine. Makai's ready.
Makai's a little concerned.
Makai is concerned. He's ready to buy some tickets and get home to the mainland. But everybody else is just kind of thrilled. Really, it's kind of an exciting thing. No one's really terrified or scared. Like I said, Micaiah, who is our autistic son, is a little concerned. So he suggested that we go buy some airline tickets and go. So it was kind of, everybody had a little laugh, but he's good. He sees his brother and sisters. They're doing fine. They're dealing with it. It's just an experience. It's a journey that we're on, and yeah, we're not regretful that we came here, not in the least. I think we're supposed to witness all this and even more. Something in the sky. Personally, I'm not going to get too much into that, but I did have this feeling maybe a month or so ago. I was watching the USGS monitoring of Kilauea, and the thought occurred to me that it was quite possible, and I should have said something, that we were going to see a major eruption. Here we are just a couple months later, and it's happening. So yeah, we're here to document it and share with you guys. Don't worry about us. We appreciate the prayers and the concern, but be praying for those directly affected in Leilani. There's many people who are displaced, and there's obviously people who are going to lose property. They're going to lose their homes, and hopefully no animals or anything like that. Just property that can be replaced. But that's the way it goes here in paradise, and it seems that the native people understand that this is the law of Pele, is what they say. And when the lava comes,
However, Pele is a deity.
it isn't, and that's what they call it. But you know, they deal with it in such a way, with respect. That's what I see as respect for the Aina and for the volcano, because it is it's quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, what areas to be in. Just recently, a couple of weeks ago, some tourists and tour guides down in Kalapana at the lava viewing area were overcome with sulfuric dioxide fumes, and a couple of people died. So it's not something to be playing around with. It is some danger to it, but we personally are not in danger. I would expect those who are still in Leilani trying to hold down and keep the looters out. That's the bad element of it, is people out to loot and take advantage of someone's misfortune. But that's why they have the National Guard down there, to keep everything secure. So we're thankful for that. I will try to make some connections and more of personal connections with people that's directly affected, that are staying in Pahoa at the evacuation center there. Maybe we can get some interviews. Welcome, Memphis, Tennessee, Echo, and those that are joining us. It is very late. I understand that. It's only 10 o'clock here in Hawaii, but wherever you are, it's probably late, unless you're behind me. Then it's another day if you're behind me, right? Kind of weird. We're really close to Australia, but they're on another day. Darla got a really interesting video today in the bank. There's this huge globe hanging from the ceiling, and when that big one hit, that globe started swinging back and forth. She videotaped. She come out of there very concerned. The look on her face when she come out of that building, because she was in the bank doing some business when that big one hit. I was sitting in the car rocking back and forth, and that's when she shot that video. I do have video of it, but there's no sound. It's just me sitting there rocking on video. Speaking of video, let's look at this. This is pretty interesting here. Let me share this with you, since you're up and still with me. So here's a little video. Latest news. Some really close-up shots. This is crossing the street of Mahalo down there.
Over the last 24 plus hours, there have been 3 fissures that have opened up. We're looking for the next one to see what kind of a trend that might show.
Is there any indication of where that next fissure might be?
No, but the 3 of them are kind of in a line, and so it wouldn't be outrageous to expect the next one to be on that same line, but we can't say where.
Listen to that sound.
The 3rd one, as far as I know, is still active, and the overall state of the volcano is that it's still pressurized. We're still getting earthquakes in the area, although it's been reduced since yesterday and the day before. But we feel that the system is still pressurized. The summit is deflating somewhat slowly. Lava Lake is dropping, and so we're just waiting to see what happens next. Well, we have a lot of instruments on the ground. We're sort of prepared for this kind of thing. So we have seismometers and tiltmeters and GPS instruments, and we have an occasional pass of a radar satellite that can tell us how the ground is changing, ground shape is changing. And so we're kind of putting all those tools to use to figure out, for example, where the extent of this intrusion that started up near Volcano ERUPTIng crater and has moved all the way down to in the vicinity of the Leilani Estates and a little bit farther east, at least. And then we're just sort of monitoring that. The intrusion itself broke a lot of ground. That's what the earthquakes come from. Ground surface changed quite a bit as the dike was passing by each of these instrument sites. And then now that we have surficial manifestations, cracks and lava, gas coming out, we have multiple crews on the ground tracking its behavior, tracking the extent of the fissures themselves, the cracks, and whether they're generating any sort of flows or not. That's the next thing to look for, I guess. And also there's, over the last 24 plus hours, there have been 3 fissures that have opened up. We're looking for the next one to see what kind of a trend that might show. As far as historical perspectives, there's obviously been a lot of activity down in the Lower East Rift Zone. But so far, the one that seems most similar is the 1955 Puna eruption. And that one erupted over several months from several different fissures that expand from expanded over a large area. It started in the center of this area, then it expanded out to a point just west of Highway 130, all the way down to Kapoho Cone. Some of the eruptions out of those fissures were quite small, not unlike this one, but some of them were quite large with high fountaining events that fed lava flows that made it down to the ocean. So, that's about the only thing that we have detailed information about that seems kind of similar at the moment. They didn't start out, the 1955 event didn't start out exactly like this one did. It had a bit of seismicity that ramped up very clearly before the eruption. And this one, the seismicity kind of ramped up as the dike was being moved down rift. But when the eruption started, there wasn't any immediate precursor that lava was going to come up in the fissure. We are seeing changes in the seismicity. Seismicity goes up when lava is coming out, when gas is being emitted, but so far it's not showing signs of that even minutes, well, in an hour or two before that happens. While there's just a bit of spatter coming out, there are heavy gas emissions coming out of these fissures, and so it's going to depend on which way the wind blows. But the kind of concentration numbers that I've seen so far have been very high, and I think they're being measured quite close to the fissure, so you would think that it would be dispersed somewhat by the time it gets up to Navali. But it'd be good to be on the lookout for such things. It's definitely a part of this event.
Did you guys reposition one of your webcams to face?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, okay.
The one that was a little bit down rift, it actually was set up during the pu'u response.
Yeah.
And it had pu'u over the left corner, and so yeah, it was really optimum just to move it over and capture most of Leilani estates in it. So, for example, when the first fissure opened, which was just a couple of hours after the big magnitude 5 earthquake, the first sign of it was these copious steam and gas emissions before any lava came out. And that was visible for quite a ways. So I think that's what you're going to see first in the camera, but it may be followed more quickly by the spattering and such, and sulfur dioxide gas.
And that was from Big Island News. I think we do also have something from the mayor, so we'll go ahead and play that as well.
We have been working here with Hawaii County Civil Defense to keep the people safe. We would encourage those who are residents of Leilani Estates and Lani Puna Estates to evacuate. There are 3 fissures that have opened up in Leilani Estates, and the emergency centers are open in Pahoa and in Keao. So certainly we would encourage the residents to use the emergency shelters. We have been monitoring the situation, as you know, for the last couple days as the seismic activity had increased on the Big Island. And certainly we have been in contact with Hawaii Civil Defense constantly for the last 2 days, just so that we could all be aware of all the activities that are occurring here on Hawaii Island. Now, certainly it was helpful to be here in the Emergency Operations Center to hear the reports from the various departments and agencies. I was able to meet and talk with Mayor Harry Kim to assure him that the state stands ready to support their activity. As you know, we had activated the National Guard yesterday, and there are about a dozen men and women who are here on island. We do expect to have another 60 or so coming on to help support the Hawaii County first responders. As we know and we anticipate that this will be a prolonged event, we want to make sure that we have enough people here on the ground to keep the community safe.
And anything you're going to be looking to do to help maybe some federal assistance?
You know, we actually have representatives from FEMA here already on island. We had made contact with them yesterday, and certainly we are in conversations constantly. You know, we have been working federal, state, and county. Response has been terrific. The cooperation between all levels of government is always focused on providing for the safety of our communities.
You must feel a degree of confidence in your new state civil defense administrator, considering where he's from.
Certainly, Tom Travis has really come in and hit the ground running. Obviously, I don't think anyone wants to walk into a rain event like we've had on Kauai and Hanalei, you know, the largest amount of rain it could be in the country. And certainly that's been challenging. And then to really have this lava eruption is a challenge, but Tom's been through that part of it. And so we certainly appreciate his experience, and he obviously is familiar with the area.
All right, mahalo to the Big Island News. I'm using their content, guys, because quite frankly, I wasn't able to get it for you today. Yeah, we did make it to Kalapana. We did get video, but you know it's useless without the audio, all the commentary. Unless I do the voice over it, and Darla is actually editing now, so we'll work and try to get that content up to you. I think there is one more video. I'll share with you guys. It's on my Facebook page. I know not everybody is on my Facebook page, so I'll share that with you. This is a local I'm friends with who posted this a little while ago. Actually, how do you enlarge? We want to enlarge it. I'm not trying to share it. I'm trying to enlarge it. I'm hitting the wrong thing. There we go. That is from one of the fishers. This is from a local who is right there, staying behind the lines and feeding these videos out. All right. So if he posts any more, I'll share with you guys. All right, so that's it for the update, guys. Thank you for joining me so late there. Those of you that are on the mainland, I know it's very late, 4, 3, 5 o'clock in the morning in some places. Shalom, peace to you guys. We'll see you tomorrow or today. We'll do another broadcast and keep you guys updated. Shalom, and we'll see you at that one.